What's up, guys? I'm back at long last with another video, and I want to talk about some recent news that has been going on with the Ravens. Basically, offer my quick thoughts and reaction to it, and I'm going to work in reverse order here. So, I'll start by talking about the Jaire Alexander signing that recently happened, and then I'll talk about the Rashod Bateman extension. So, starting off with the Jaire Alexander signing, I like this move for three reasons: value, fit, and then depth. So I'll start with value. It's a 1 year deal for $4 million. I think it's worth up to 6 million with incentives, and I think that's a really good value for someone of his caliber who's been an All Pro twice. Even though yes, he has battled injury issues, but he's only 28 years old, so it would be nice if he's able to stay on the field this year. Then hopefully he could earn himself an extension, and that would give the Ravens a really nice core, DB core of Marlon Humphrey, Nate Wiggins, and then Jaire. And that brings me to my next point about fit, which is I think he's a really great overall fit for the scheme for what Zach Orr wants to do with this defense, which is have positional flexibility. So if you have Marlon on the outside and then you can rotate Nate Wiggins and Jaire on the other side, then you can play Kyle Hamilton in the slot corner spot, and that allows him to be obviously closer to the line of scrimmage and closer to the quarterback, which allows him to affect the game more. So I think that's really nice, especially after drafting Malachi Starks in the first round. You have someone who could hopefully play center field, so Kyle doesn't have to worry about playing the deep half and kind of being back there. Um, and also, he brings a unique element that I think the Ravens have kind of been missing for the last few years, basically since Marcus Peters was on the team, which is he's a playmaker. The last time he was healthy, which is 2022, he had 5 interceptions and was an All Pro. And he's someone who, throughout his career, has had a nose for the ball and has definitely been aggressive in taking those chances. And it's not like he's just gambling; like he's doing so very wisely. So I think him being able to play within the structure of the defense while taking those chances will add a really nice element that the Ravens have kind of been missing for a few years. And then on to depth. He's obviously not going to be asked to start or play but so many snaps or in certain situations. So hopefully that allows him to stay healthy and stay on the field. And also, even though he is only 28, which is pretty young, he brings kind of a veteran presence to the DB room that hopefully TJ Tampa and Jalen Armour Davis can kind of learn from. So I think overall it's just a really good fit. And it seems like it's one of those moves that could be like a vintage Ravens signing where someone who's kind of been facing injury issues or other issues in their careers can kind of join the Ravens and revive their career a little bit. So yeah, I think it's a really good move, and I overall like the signing. Moving on to the Rashod Bateman extension, I'm also a big fan of this move, and I feel just really validated as a Rashod Bateman truther. I think he's had, obviously he's had a lot of injury issues that have kept him off the field a lot of the time throughout his career, and that's just been his main problem is staying on the field. Because when he is on the field, he's always been productive and he gets open really often. Like PFF always puts out those stats at the end of the year, like separation stats or like guys who get open the most. And when he's on the field, Rashad is always at the top of those lists. So it was really nice to see him stay on the field for the most part last season and earn a nice payday. It's a 3 year deal for I think a little under $37 million. And it's interesting that the Ravens shopped him around before giving him that deal. Like it was reported that the Cowboys were interested in getting him, but I guess the offer wasn't good enough for the Ravens. I imagine they weren't taking anything less than a second round pick after the season that he put together and just the overall upside that he has. So it's nice to see that he was able to, not let those trade issues kind of make things uncomfortable and earned a nice payday for himself. So much respect to him, and he also deserves respect in this regard. We look at Zay Flowers and are really excited about his potential, and rightfully so, because he's super electric. But Edie's Eric DaCosta, the first receiver that he took that we kind of looked at as like the savior of Baltimore receivers, because obviously that's a position the Ravens have had a lot of trouble drafting and just overall putting resources into over the years. So when he was taken in the first round of I think the 2019 draft, he was kind of looked at as like that guy who could kind of you know help revive that position for Baltimore. And so it was really nice to see him kind of just come through on those hopes that I think a lot of people had in him. So I feel really validated with that. And in that same note, with both him and Zay, I think I look at them as foundational receivers because I think the Ravens have really bought into this receiver by committee kind of philosophy. Like, I don't think we're ever gonna necessarily get what we would call a true number one, um, like a Jamar Chase or someone like that, unless they draft someone like that, because that's just not something that they're going to pour a lot of money into unless they're homegrown. So with Bateman getting this payday, and then Zay obviously still having a few years left on his deal and the fifth year option, I think it sets the Ravens up nicely to hopefully have these two be Lamar's one and two for the long haul. So overall, I really like the move. And I hope to see now that he's kind of gotten paid and validated financially, the Ravens will validate him more on the field and use him a little bit more intentionally. Like, as much as I love seeing Zay on jet sweeps and all these different kind of quicker concepts, bubble screens and things like that, I would love to see Bate involved more, so that we can kind of keep the defense off guard a little bit. So really like the move. Ravens have a really great receiving core for at least the next few seasons. So I'm excited overall for the direction of the team, and I'm looking forward to training camp as well. I'll definitely keep you guys posted on any other news that happens. Please, if you enjoyed my thoughts or just like my channel in general, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys soon.